Can anyone actually see anything? All right, because I have no idea what I'm doing. So I see you guys in chat. Can you hear me? Well, you can't see me, but can you hear me? Yes, I hear you. Oh, cool. All right, I don't know what I'm doing. I am down, this is Mike, by the way. I am down in Kanzenshuu basement quarantine headquarters, working on stuff, doing nothing. I don't know how we can be doing stuff, working on nothing at the same time. Anyway, I was working on the podcast episode I plan on releasing tomorrow. Working on wiki stuff about a character, and I figured I have this book right here that I was using for it, and I have all my video stuff here, so maybe I would show things. Yeah. Anyway, so maybe I'm going to flip through this book here. That's a real exciting live stream, right? I don't know. So, yeah, I'm probably just going to do this for a couple minutes, just trying to figure out what my video pipeline would be, will be, can be in the future. And that's that. So, I don't know. I'm just kind of checking out who's in chat here. I see some names I know, some names I don't know. So I'm just going to take questions for a couple seconds here while I figure out what I'm going to do. Also, my foot, I have a fracture in my foot, so I'm kind of like stuck in place. I can't really move around or do a whole lot. So I'm just going to sit here over there in the chat. If you have a couple questions, I'm just going to flip through a couple quick things and take some questions while I'm kind of like adjusting the camera and doing some other stuff. Yeah, that's that. Also, the microphone is like way off to the side. I have it turned so I can flip pages on the book. It's not like over here where I normally am. So, questions about stuff here. Tell us. Yes, so this is from the 1990 Toei Anime Fair. That was one of the, so like 2 or 3 times a year, this is when the movies aired originally in Japan. They had these special festivals. They were usually during school breaks, and they would air multiple movies together. It would be Dragon Ball and a Dr. Slump movie. It would be Dragon Ball and a Slam Dunk movie. This particular one from the 1991 was Dragon Ball Z Movie 3. So you can actually see at the top here, it's called Akira Toriyama The World. So it was a special one in that all 3 movies that they played were Toriyama related. So DBZ Movie 3, now obviously Toriyama didn't write the script to that movie, but it's Dragon Ball. And then we have Kennosuke-sama, which is Toriyama manga, and we have Pink, the Rain Jack story, which is Toriyama manga, which I can actually, without moving too much, I can show you as well. So that's kind of what I'm just going to flip through the book live on air and show you a couple of cool things about it. So I'm going to turn to the side a little bit and look at some of the questions we got here. See questions about the design. Yeah, so you'll see here the main cover artwork here, tell us, is in kind of like the normal color that we see Vegeta and Nappa show up in, the yellow there. Also, incidentally enough, what Bardock now wears as of the Broly movie. Yeah, so I'm not sure if that was just like they didn't know what the coloring was going to be when they did the original promo art for the movie. There's a bunch of really cool promo art, for the most part, throughout the rest of the book. Other promo art and obviously screen caps from the movie itself. He's in his normal color in there. What else? Looking over to the side here. Greetings from Germany. Hello, Germany. Let's see what else. Ezekiel asking what happened with registration for the wiki. So you cannot actually register for the wiki. The wiki is a closed group of the best men and women we have working on things. It's a small group of friends, and every once in a while we'll pull in 1 or 2 new people. But yeah, it's very closed right now. That's kind of the idea of, as we are working on developing it, it's just going to be very controlled, which is the Kanzenshuu way, if that makes sense. I see. Oh, so I think I answered your question. Cool. All right. What else do we have here? Let's see. So apologies if I get away from the microphone a little bit as I'm reading here. Let's see. Quarantine, do you think you can do another live QA like you did for the Reddit thing? Yeah, absolutely. It's just a matter of scheduling. Julian's back in Japan, so time zones are a bitch right now. And Heath has kids. Julian's got his kids going on. Everyone's got their families. So it's just, it's difficult. I do want to do another of the live article readings. I have a whole bunch of UK magazines that I always intended to do. We did, I think, 2 of those from the live readings of just old press articles about Dragon Ball. I think that's something I want to do if I can figure out how. Who I'm going to talk with. I don't want it to just be me. I mean, it's not that exciting, just me talking, even though that's literally what I'm doing right now. Let's see, Crypto Goku, how do you feel with everything? Other than my foot, I'm doing pretty good. Happy, healthy, things are good over here. Lizard Crimson asks if you think we might get a Dragon Ball GT 25th anniversary. I doubt we're going to get a music set for GT. I just don't think, I mean, I would love it. I just don't think that's something they're going to release. I would love to get it, though. Let's see, Pikachu Master here is catching up on the podcast. You're on 103. Yeah, you're right about to hit the point where I get a real microphone. So that's exciting. You're still in the Radio Shack era with a really, really crummy mixer and microphones there. So I think it's 110, 111 there-ish. And then when I did first get it, I didn't quite know how to use the equipment there. So it sounds good for a second, then it's all blown out, and then it gets better again. So good luck catching up there. I hope you're excited for better audio quality coming down the road. All right, so I'm just going to start flipping through the book here. So again, God damn boot is clunking on things here. So this is, I forget what season it was. Akira Toriyama, The World, Dragon Ball Z Movie 3. Those are words, right? So we're just flipping through here, and we get... Hold on, my stream is a little bit behind. I turn to the side to see what the preview of the stream is, and it's not where it is. This is so hard. So we get the opening credits and artwork and all that jazz. And so this is actually the page that is going to be most important to what you're going to hear on the podcast, hopefully this week. And that these are the bios for all of Tellus's henchmen. So we have Daiz, we have Kakao, we have Amond, and then we have Raisin Rakase. The main topic of the podcast, well, there's actually 3, but the first one's going to be about Amond, because what his bio here says is that he was originally let's see if I can hold this up a little better. So wait for the stream to catch up and where it's pointing and how it works. This is so hard. I don't know how people do video stuff. Audio is so easy. I may need to back it down a little bit. So Amond was originally a criminal rampaging across the galaxy until he was captured by a space police organization. And that may sound familiar to something you might know. He was jailed on the planet Nuts, and then when Tullus attacked planet Nuts, he broke him out, and he became one of Tullus's men. And all of the movie villains here have similar stories about how they joined Tullus and his crew. None of that is in the movie itself. It's all from their back history here in the pamphlet. There was... sorry, this is going to be duplicate for those of you that listen to the podcast when you hear this again. There was another book released for this very special occasion when all 3 were Toriyama works, called Akira Toriyama, The World Anime Special, which is different from a separate art book called Akira Toriyama, The World Special. So the background information for them, they're in both of those books. They're in, as you're going to see on the wiki page, the back of the Cardass card for Amon. It's probably supposed to be Cardass, but I'm never not going to be 8 years old and say Cardass. One of Bandai's card series from the 90s. His bio's on the back of that. And I found one more thing that I don't actually own, so I need to figure out what the original source of it is. I think it's probably a Weekly Shonen Jump page from 1990 that has that background information for the characters in there. So that's just really, really cool information that I like. So I am going to pause and look back over at the chat. I know there's no movement. Maybe I can show my hand. I'm here. I'm turning the pages. Let's see. What else is going on in here? Anyone have an echo? Sounds like 2 tracks overlaid. Probably do, because I don't know what I'm doing. So if I turn off... Can I turn that off? If I turn that down... now how is it? Does that change anything? Is that back to normal single audio? I've never done it with this setup before, so I'm curious if you can even hear me. Someone please tell me if you can still hear me. That's the main thing I need to know. Can you still hear me? Cool. All right. I think it was taking the main audio from like the camera and then separately from my microphone, and I didn't realize what the hell was going on. So sorry about ruining the audio for these last couple minutes. Let's see. All right. So going back to questions here. Thank you for telling me that the audio was fucked. Now I at least know how to fix this if I do something else. All right. So scrolling down, Green Haya Dragon. Yeah, he looks awful in that color. All the colors are weird when they're weird. Let's see. Have you done any video showing your collection? I have not. I probably could turn the video around, but I have it like pointing straight down. That'd be difficult. And not everything is in this room. Most is in my basement office headquarters here, but not quite everything is. That's good. All right, let's see what else. This is your first movie. Yeah, I think for a lot of people, DBZ Movie 3 was their first movie. If you were watching in American syndication in 1997, because during season 2 there, we got the 3-part broken up version of DBZ Movie 3 just randomly as a part of season 2. And that was probably a lot of folks' first introduction. Also, footage from the first 3 movies there in the Rock the Dragon opening. So I think for a lot of people, as they were first discovering it, when they finally saw the movies, like, oh, that's where that's from. That's why it looks so much better than the rest of the series there. Let's see. All right. Yeah, the audio is HD now. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, it's HD now. Yes, we are broadcasting in HD here. I know the video quality probably isn't great, and this is just like one of my random rooms, so I don't have professional lighting or anything. So I know there's a glare on the book. If I do anything like this again in the future, I'll probably work on fixing that out a little bit. Let's see. Other questions. I got to scroll up a little bit because I miss things, and then I feel bad about missing things. All right, I covered that. Crypto Goku wants to know if I like the latest chapter of Dragon Ball Super. I know it's got nothing to do with this, but I don't know. I got to read it again. I guess let's just say it wasn't the best, but I'm not like really down on it or anything. It was fine. All right. What else we got here? It is great, like total silence as I read questions. Let's see. I'm going to read some of the other things here. Let's see. Mugen says, I rented movie 3 a few times from Blockbuster back in the day. One of them being the uncut dub and another being subbed. Yeah, so when the first 3 movies, a lot of you probably know this, and I talk about this crap all the time. When the first 3 movies were released, it was a joint release between Funimation and, at the time, they were called Pioneer, later Geneon, later out of business. They were released in 4 formats. They were released dubbed on VHS, subtitled on VHS, Laserdisc, which had both, and then a DVD, which had both. And they were released out of order, actually. DBZ Movie 1 came out in December 1997. Then they released Movie 3, and then they went back to Movie 2. And the Movie 3 was a completely new redub, different from the dub that they did during Season 2 syndication. And it featured Calamus as Goku instead of Corlett, who did the TV version. Most of the other voices were pretty much the same, a couple here and there, just because they did it so much later. By that point, some of the voices had swapped in and out. Let's see what else we got here. How many of the movies actually have pamphlets like this? All of them. Every single movie. All the fairs have books and pamphlets like this. So they're I wouldn't say they're cardboard, but the paper is really thick, is actually great for preservation because it's hard to tear them. And because the stock is so good, even though you can, open up and the binding is what it is, they're just typically in great condition, even when you buy them now, which is great. Even into Battle of Gods and Resurrection F got books. Actually, to my knowledge, did Broly... Oh, God, I'm out of my element here. I don't remember what Broly got for a book release other than 2 separate novelizations and an anime comic. I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, all the movies got things like this. Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, obviously a little different because they weren't part of the Toei anime fairs. They were their own individual movie releases. I don't think I have them here. Those are upstairs with other guidebooks, so I can't grab those. If I didn't have a boot on my foot, I could probably grab some of the other DBZ movie ones. And then I guess I can say that movies 12 and 13 actually got something under a separate line of books called the Jump Anime Library. They were kind of like their own individual guidebooks just for those specific films. And they're really detailed, have a lot of cool information, character designs, landscape designs. The stuff in movie 12 is kind of spectacular just because you think of what hell looks like in that movie and all the new designs and coloring that went into that. That's something we should probably show off at some point. I know Heath is going through, you're going to hear about this on the podcast, going through the movie guide again on the website proper right now. And movie 7 is either live or going live. And there's a lot of extra cool stuff on there right now. All right. So I've just been talking into the void for a little bit. Let me go back over and see what we got for questions here. All right. I see Therese is correcting everyone's names. Thank you for being in there and being like the select self-appointed moderator. I appreciate that. Let's see. Oh, yeah. People keep asking about the Big Green Dub podcast episode re-upload. I know it's archive.org. Grab the actual MP3 file, so I need to do that. And keep reminding me to do that because I'm aware of it, and then, I don't know, it's in one ear and out the other, and I forget to actually do that and fix that in the feed and all that jazz. So, yes, keep... like every week or so, just tweet at me, tweet Heath too, Hujio there, and one of us will remember to fix that. I'm going to stop and keep going through the book. I'm going to stop questions, keep going through the book a little bit here. So it's just mostly the recap of the film at this point. Keep flipping on through, getting there. We move on. Something about the Shinseiju. And then there's, this is probably something that people care about, right? This is a list of battle powers. This is all character. I'm reading it upside. I'm both reading English and Japanese upside down. So this is really difficult. What does it say? All characters. Yeah. So it lists battle powers for a whole bunch of characters previous to this, and then also up to and including this film. So we get battle powers for, like, tell us, Amon's battle powers 9100. That's really spectacular. I know people take issue here at List Raditz's battle powers 1500, but it is what it is. I can't rearrange this on the table while also trying to read it, while also trying to look at the seconds behind preview live stream there. I think I fixed it a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, questions. Who wants to know who's battle power? They're all extremely interesting. Dr. Cochin is 8. Is that the lowest on here? Let's see. Poir, Oolong are 10. That might be the lowest. If we flip over to original Dragon Ball characters here. I was going to say, I'm also reading numbers upside down now, so that's difficult. These are actually already all archived on the Battle Power Guide over on the website itself. They're all in there and cited, I think. I'm pretty sure. That's very exciting. Gregor, you want to know Gregory's battle power? Yeah, I did see him in there. No, it was 1100, I think it was. Yeah, 1100. So Gregory is just behind a Sci-Fi Man, which is at 1300 according to this here, which I know other people like to debate the validity of as well. Did we get everyone? Poir and Oolong, they're both at 10. I think it's fair that they're equal. Poir should maybe have like one more over Oolong for better transformations or something. Let's see. All right, what else? Gregory. All right, everyone's talking about Gregory. Yeah, I know Gregory's really exciting. Is the Elder on here? I can't remember, and I'm also looking upside down. Do I see him? I'm assuming you're talking about the Namekian Elder, because when we talk, there he is. I don't know what it says because it's upside down and in Japanese, so you need to ask someone else, but I can find out for you. I guess that's that. I'm going to keep flipping through the book because I have something else cool to show you. So, that's the wrong way. Flipping through books upside down is difficult too. Then that's the end, and that's the actual end. And then Secret of the Science. I actually have... I think I took a stab at translating this column myself, which means it's probably wrong. Let me go see where I put this. It's going to take me forever to look through my archives. Movie 4 has one too called Secrets of the Namekians. Talk amongst yourselves. I scroll through and look for a dumb thing. Let's see. Man, I must be blind. Where the hell did I put it? I don't know, but basically it just talks about, oh, they look the same because, I don't know, there's not many and they're lower class and all that jazz, which is something we know. So, God, I know it's in here somewhere. Let's see. Yes, pink. So you do see pink, and that's something I'm going to show you if I can't find what I'm looking for in the next 5 seconds here. There it is, Secrets of the Science. Oh, I didn't translate it. I just transcribed it. So I really don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, so yes, the other two things at the fair that year were Pink, which is a Toriyama manga, and also Kennosuke-sama, which is a Toriyama manga. So they got some info on that. This also got a soundtrack release, which is across from me, but I can't get to without knocking everything over. That had Marugoto on it. So the ending theme to DBZ Movie 3 is actually something I didn't quite realize right away myself. Wasn't initially included on the Hit Song Collection series, the 18 and then the 2 bonus remix albums. It had a new remix long version included, but the song itself proper initially debuted on the Akira Toriyama The World soundtrack CD that they put out. They had Chala, Marugoto, and then the Pink and Kennosuke songs. So speaking of Pink, I can reach this without moving too much. This is the 1982 number 3 issue of Fresh Jump. They did some really cool stuff with their covers, doing like pixelated versions of things. I have to wait until the preview catches up to see if you can even see this when it appears on screen. Yeah, there it is. This has the original serialization of Pink. So I'm going to take that out and I can show that to you here. And I think it's like the first thing in the book. Yeah, it is. Pink, the Rainjack story. We have the original publication and serialization of this. So we got, Toriyama's comments and the original color pages from it here. It's really beautiful. This is this volume is in great condition. Julian was able to snag this. He's always on the lookout for the original volumes from, back in the day with the actual works themselves published in them. We just love collecting this stuff so we can truly say, what was in there, what was it published alongside, any differences from later collected editions. It's just all super cool stuff. And it gets into other series there, so that's where that ends. So we've got the original volume there for pink. So that's pretty much what I can. I don't know, what else can I reach? It's over in here. These are other Fresh Jump issues. Oh, I love this. This is what can Mike reach without exerting too much effort. So here's the 1983 August issue. I'll let you take a look at the cover of this one. Waiting for the stream to catch up here. Probably can't quite see it, can you? Yeah, I guess you can. So this was released June 1983, Fresh Jump issue, the August issue. It's like V-Jump where it's, forward dated ahead at this point. This has Dragon Boy Part 1, which is one of the prototypes that led to Dragon Ball. We know he was working on Dr. Slump, and a lot of those elements would eventually show up in Dragon Ball. We've done a couple podcast series about this. Evil scientists making robots, sending after the main character, and there's a Majin. I'm not talking about Dragon Ball, I'm talking about Dr. Slump. Then as he was wrapping up Dr. Slump, he did a couple works that truly were, and even Shueisha considers, the prototypes for Dragon Ball. Dragon Boy, which is 2 chapters published in 2 separate issues here, and The Adventure of Tongpu. Tongpu was in Weekly Shonen Jump. Dragon Boy was in Fresh Jump. So what we're looking at here is the original issue with Dragon Boy. So maybe I can show you something cool out of this as well. This one's in fairly decent condition too. I'm just gonna find it in the volume. It sure smells like 1983. So here's the original title page that has the splash text on the side. This is Dragon Boy here from the original Fresh Jump volume. Very, very cool stuff. Again, very appreciative to actually own a piece of Dragon Ball history like this. Good times. Good times. Let's see. Catching up on chat. Let's see. I'm just going to hold this open and turn to the side and see what I can read from the chat here. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of people happy and excited that we own this. Yeah, absolutely. We want to make sure that we know what we're talking about when we say it was in a particular magazine, that it truly was, and what the page numbers are at the very least. How much of the original serialization of Dragon Ball do the Kanzenshuu staff own? So I'm going to let this go because I can't hold this open while I continue to talk. I actually don't know. I'd have to ask Heath. Julian's original mission was to focus on the Weekly Shonen Jump volumes that had color chapters, because not all of that content was necessarily preserved going forward into reprint. So I know we have most of those, and then obviously a whole bunch of others. I can't necessarily answer that. Heath holds all of the Jump issues simply because, I don't know, Julian decided to split up who he was mailing things to at one point. I think that's just the route we took. I have some. I bought those reprints that they put out over the last couple of years, but in terms of the original Jump issues, it's mostly Heath that holds on to those in headquarters number 2 in an undisclosed location in Middle America. I have all of Jocko. I have all of Dragon Ball Super and all the V-Jump issues moving forward. I have all of the other re-releases of Dragon Ball. So the entire Tankobon, the Kanzenban, the Digest Edition. I I have all those. So Heath focuses on the Weekly Shonen Jumps, or at least Julian focuses on mailing them to him. Let's see, what else we got? So I answered that. Yeah, if you could. Bottle 1983 scent. What does it smell like? Man. All right, let me. Musty and musky. I think that's pretty good. Hints of cinnamon and citrus. No, I don't know. I think that's the best I can do for you there. Just picture in your mind what 1983 smells like, and that's probably fairly accurate. Let's see. What else we getting there? Julie's in here. Coolest thing Julian found. Gohan's original age. Yeah, I don't have that. I think Heath has that issue. In the original serialization, this is one of those, I don't know, I feel like I have about a dozen things, and I'm like, these are the coolest things. And I will talk about them at the drop of a hat, and you're probably all sick of hearing about it. But when Gohan, the child, not the grandfather, is first introduced, he says he is 3 years old. And in the subsequent chapters and all subsequent reprints, they change that age to 4. So the only place that he is 3 is in the original serialization in Weekly Shonen Jump. And it was changed in all locations after that. How long did it take Julian to collect the original release dates for the issues? Julian did multiple scheduled trips to libraries in Japan there, where he would reserve specific blocks of magazines and books and volumes, and they would cart out carts of stuff to him. And Julian has done all of Dr. Slump, all of Dragon Ball, and for the most part, all of Toriyama's one-shots. So that included the release dates for all of those volumes. That included Toriyama's author comment in every single one of those volumes. We have all of his comments for that stuff. I think that's it. Yeah, and obviously chapter titles and all that jazz. So we have all that. Let's see. What else we got here? I think I'm pretty much caught up. Garbage. It smells like, no, it doesn't smell like garbage. It smells like history. That's what 1983 smells like, right? I think that's kind of it. This was, again, just a test. Obviously, I didn't do it right to start. I turned this upside down, didn't I? I realized I'm looking at it. I was just testing to see what I could do for myself, for work, for whole bunch of things. So I hope this was remotely entertaining and enjoyable. I don't know if I'll keep it on the channel, especially because the audio was wrong for a little bit. I don't think there's any way I can fix that. Unfortunately, I wasn't like recording this separately. I was just streaming it straight out. How's the binding holding up? On some of these, it is better than others. You can see these, like, we haven't broken it to scan. And I'm not necessarily sure that I want to on some of these. We do have doubles on some stuff, but some of these, like the Fresh Jump issues, they were too expensive to want to break the binding on right now. And there are some scans of that stuff out there, but for us, it's actually mostly about cover scans. Some of this stuff is out there, but it is really poor quality, and you can't necessarily tell if that's the right volume from one to another. So I think that answers that. What's one item that was very hard to find in stores or online? I don't know. I mean, Julian's got his searches all set up. I think he lost one or two. They weren't auctions. They were just up on Mandarake, and they accepted someone else's order before his. So there's stuff like that. What else we got for questions? Alan says, you want me to keep it? Okay, maybe I'll try to keep this up on the channel. And I don't know if it's just like a live archive, so I can't put a warning in front of it. But maybe I can edit the description to say, like, all right, fix the audio a couple minutes in. So sorry. Rarest item in the Kanzenshuu archives? I don't know. I feel like the fact that we have both chapters of Dragon Boy and Tongpu is pretty exciting. My voice is going. I feel like I'm getting a little scratchy here, so I'm probably going to have to call it quits pretty soon. Stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, we don't necessarily go for rare. I did recently get in Dragon Ball Z 2V on the PS2. That was pretty fun to finally add that to my collection. I know I was posting about that on Twitter. That's readily available, though. I mean, anytime you type it in, it's there on eBay. If you're willing to pay for it, like, it's there. So, I mean, we know how many copies of it were produced and released out there. I don't know. I'm just going to start taking out things. This video stream isn't particularly interesting. Unless, what do I have here? This is an issue of Animedia. Why do I have this? Let's see. This is May 1992 issue of Animedia. Oh, okay. So it's probably got Dragon Ball episode, at least episode listings from when it was released. If not, a column about Dragon Ball somewhere in here. I don't know. I'm flipping through real quick. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Here we go. So this is from the magazine Animedia, which still exists. This is just a preview of what's going on at that time in the Dragon Ball Z TV series. So, yeah, we're up to Trunks, and we have 17 up here. Is this on the camera? Yeah, it is sort of. Not perfectly aligned or anything, but I'll work on that. I'll leave that up there, so that's something different to look at while you listen to me. Yeah, so we have all sorts of cool things. Fun things about these old issues is something that you probably saw during the Dragon Ball Super days, is that you would see an episode title listed in Animedia or Animage, and then the episode title would be different when the episode aired. It was the same in 1992, the same that it was in 2017 or whatever. The episode titles here would be, I don't know if you want to call them provisional, but they weren't necessarily finalized by the time they got to air. All right, last couple questions. GT review of awesomeness. It's never done. I'm telling you, it's always coming back. It's just a matter of time, and I'm not allowed to have people over. I think I'm going to call it there. So cool. Thanks for joining me, folks, for my random test. Just looking at some items in the archives. I will listen back to how awful this sounded and looked. And I will strive to make improvements in the future. So in the meantime, look forward to the podcast episode this week. Look forward to other stuff we have coming on the site. I appreciate you all hanging out and chatting back at me towards the end of the day here. Let's see. Anyone have, I usually ask my co-hosts, anyone have last thoughts? I ask you all, what are your last thoughts? Pikachu says, thank you and hope your week is awesome. No, thank you. And I hope your week is awesome. Thanks for hanging out a little bit. Kev Trev, interesting stuff. Thank you. I'd like to think that we have some interesting things here, and occasionally I have something remotely interesting to say. Let's see. Is it Alien or Alan? Alien, dude. So excited to hear you guys. Yeah, I'm glad to have you here. Thank you very much for hanging out. Julie, thank you. My foot, it's doing a little better. Yeah, check up in another couple weeks. Actually stay in the boot. I was not particularly good about staying in the boot once I stayed home, but now that she told me to stay in the boot. I'm going to stay in the boot. Crypto Goku, thank you for all your work. Thank you. Yes, I know, 20 years. Yeah, it's, yeah, I've been doing this a long time. I'm old, feel old, I'm tired, feel tired, but I still maintain that excitement. Sailor Spaz, looking forward to hearing the other segments of the podcast. Yeah, they were all pretty good. And so were you. And we have to, at some point, record, I don't want to say our correction, but our update to the section that we recorded. So look forward to that. I really got to call it. Anyone else? Final thoughts? Did I miss anything? Let's see. I think that's cool. I don't actually know how to stop the stream, so that's going to be exciting. I don't know what I'm doing. I love this. Cool. Yeah. End it with a record scratcher. I have a laser disc here. I don't have a record. That's really close to a record, though. I could pull it off the wall. I actually don't think I can reach it without knocking stuff over. So, yep. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Have a good week. Have a good whatever. And I'm going to attempt to end the stream I'll talk to you soon, dudes and dudettes.